Hello and welcome to this video where I see how many books I can read in 24 hours. I never ended up introing the first book that I read, but the first book that I started with was AJ Fikry, so jump to that. I've been listening to the storied life of AJ Fikry. I'm like 80-something% through. I know I haven't really vlogged my thoughts much while I was reading this or listening to this one, but I don't know, it just kind of went by pretty fast. It's kind of a small book. I really think this is such a sweet book, and it's like a very moving book. It feels like something that I could just keep listening to, and I keep thinking about it when I'm not listening to it, and it's just like I want to listen to it again, but at the same time the enjoyment level is not like super high. It's kind of like average enjoyment. Like I think at this point I'd give it like a 3.5 or something. Something so sad just happened. Like I feel like there's already been so many life moments that have happened for like the main character in this, but now something so sad is happening, and it's like I just don't even want to finish it. Like I don't want to read 20% of just like sadness more of this book. I realized I never filmed like a finish up what I thought of the storied life of AJ Fikry. It definitely moved me. I'm pretty sure I cried in it. I think it was a book that I would still recommend to someone if they were looking for like a certain type of thing that fit that description. It's not like one of my favorite literary fictions that I read. Still good though. Still good, just not my personal like vibe of what I want. I started Two Twisted Crowns. I was watching the footage back and I realized I didn't even talk about me starting it. It's the second one in the duology of One Dark Window. So far I read The Storied Life of AJ Fikry, and then I have also been reading The Twisted Crowns, and now I have 12 hours and 45 minutes and 29 seconds left on the timer. So let me start that right now and then I will start reading. So far I'm really liking it. I wasn't really expecting how much of this book wasn't going to be about the two like main characters. In my opinion, they're the main characters. I think that they were. Like I think they could be classified as that. But I was just like not really considering how they wouldn't be exactly like the main characters in this book. It's different in that way, like in the characters that they're focusing on. I miss when it was focused on the characters from the first book, but I still like these characters. I feel like I'm getting to know them better because of this book, but I also just a little bit wish that I was still like mainly reading about the other characters, you know? That's like my only thing with this one, because I'm just not enjoying it as much, but it's still like such a good fantasy book. It's just like not exactly what I wanted. I have about 10 hours left of this reading challenge. I'm on page 394, chapter 47. I do not like where I'm at in this book right now. Okay, I really do think that it's partly just me being in a reading slump. Like sometimes I think a book's just not that good, but in this case, I think it's because I'm in such a reading slump. I'm just really struggling to get through this end part, especially like when things aren't going great, like for the characters. I'm just like mentally don't want to go through all the emotions of them not having a good time. But I'm gonna read for a little anyway, because I feel like this is one of those books that would have a happy ending. Like at least I think it would, so I'm gonna keep on hoping and just try to read a little bit more right now. My phone's on the charger, but I'm just gonna start the timer. 9 hours, 57 minutes, and 3 seconds left. I'm going to finish this book on camera because I barely have any of it left. Also, ignore my folded sweatpants right there. There's no room in my closet, so now they're just gonna be like sitting on chairs. I just finished it. So my final thoughts on Two Twisted Crowns is that it was good. It was like a solid book, but at the same time, I did not like it as much as the first one. I don't know exactly why, but for some reason, I was just like not as connected to this one as the first book, and I found myself just kind of having a hard time fully grasping everything in it. I think one of the big things is that because the story switched from like a certain people to kind of focusing more on other people, I feel like I lost like what I liked about the story the most and started on this like brand new journey that I wasn't as invested in. So I feel like that was probably like the biggest thing that was doing it. I really wish that it stayed focusing on the main people because I was so curious about how that was going to work out, and I was like so focused on that. And then when it switched, I still like those characters that they were focusing on, and I think it was a good story, but I feel like I didn't take enough of a journey with them. I don't know, like I just wasn't, I felt like I was in the middle of a story that like wasn't completely their story, because they weren't having those moments from the very beginning of the duology. And I think it's the fact that it's also like only 2 books, so it's like I really kind of missed the other characters, and then the fact that I knew that I was only going to get so little of them in the whole second half of the duology, I was just like kind of bummed about that. I think I would probably give it, just on like how much I enjoyed the book in total, like a 3.5 stars. I feel like it's better than that, but at the same time, like I didn't enjoy it that much. And I think I was also going through a reading slump, but I don't know if that was because of this. So those are like my thoughts on it. I feel like I could have like not read it, and I could have just been happy that I read the first one. It was like a satisfying ending. Like I'm happy about how it ended, and it all was leading to that point. But at the same time, I feel like I just didn't get enough from this book. Now I'm going to talk about my last and final book that I'm going to be reading in this video. It is a book that I've wanted to read for so long. Also, I took kind of a little break in between reading the last book that I read and this one, so I have like my timestamp written down. I have like almost exactly 9 hours left. 9 hours and 55 seconds. A Curse for True Love is the 3rd book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. If you've seen like some of my recommendation videos or any of that sort of stuff, you may know that I'm kind of obsessed with this book trilogy, or like I haven't read the 3rd one, but like The World. It's a spin-off series of Caraval. Loved Caraval, and then Once Upon a Broken Heart I loved even more, and the 2nd book was so good. And it left off on a part where it was like such a cliffhanger. So I'm excited to get into this one. I don't think I'm going to reread any of the last one, just because I don't got time for that right now, and I also do remember what happened, so I'm good for just going straight into this one. It's the next day, and I'm on page 116, chapter 13, almost chapter 14. I have 7 hours, 52 minutes, and 45 seconds left. I'm really liking it so far. At first I was like trying to get through the beginning, because I was like, okay, I know where they're at, and it's like a little bit boring to get through that very beginning part. But once Jax is in the picture, it's good. I'm trying to give as little spoilers as possible, but if you know, you know. Like, the dude is horrible. This dude is horrible. The one that I'm referring to right now. I finished A Curse for True Love, and I still have like 4 hours left, so I'm gonna read another book. But before I do that, let me talk about what I thought about this book. This book really did not disappoint me. It was a great ending to the trilogy. I feel like I even want more. Like, I still want more of their story. I could read like a 6-book series about their story. One thing that I think I talked about a little bit that I liked in this one was I feel like Stephanie Garber knows how to keep the pacing and like the book interesting. Like, you know how sometimes in a book like people will get together and then it won't be very interesting after that because everything will be fine. In this trilogy, I feel like it gives you like good moments where you feel satisfied with that, but then it also gives you more like conflict and tension to make it like interesting throughout the entire thing. I was a little bit scared that the way the other one ended, like how that aspect of it was going to work in this book, but I think that it really just helped the pacing and it helped it stay like fresh and interesting. There was like an epilogue in the book, but then there was like another extra epilogue, and I think it's just because it's like, this is like one of the special edition when it like first came out sort of books. Because of that, there's like an extra little epilogue in it, and there's 3 different ones, and so mine has like 1 extra epilogue, but like then another copy like this could have like a different extra epilogue, and they don't count as the ways things actually go. In like the world of this book, books change, like they change over time and the words change. It's just like a little magical quirk of the place. Because of that, Stephanie Garber was like, let me write like 3 extra alternative ending epilogues. So I read this one, but now I want to read all of them. One thing that I didn't really like about the book was that it had someone's POV that I didn't really care much about hearing about, but it went by really fast, their POV, and it didn't really bug me that much because it was like a really quick read. I would give this one a 4.5, which is what I gave the first book. I think it might be like a smidge better than the first book though, like in between how good the first and second book is. So definitely really good, great way to end the trilogy. I just thought it was like very enjoyable, and it also ended up giving me what I wanted, which was nice. Now on to the next book that I'm going to be reading in this reading vlog. I want to read Air Awakens. This is a book that I've had forever. I've never read it. I've had it since like 2 Christmases ago. I got it as a blind book date, and it's been sitting there for like 2 years. So I really just want to finally read it, and I feel like 4 hours might be like just the amount of time it takes to get through this. I've only been reading for like 20 minutes. I kept getting distracted, so now it's really late. I love when that happens. I'm on page 22. Finally, the 24 hours is up. About Air Awakens, I didn't actually finish it. I did get pretty far. I read like a couple of pages past when the alarm went off because it was about to get when the main characters like would finally kiss and like have their moment. But then something exploded right before that happened, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. Because I wasn't really enjoying it enough. I kept reading it just because I was like, okay, I want to give it a fair chance. But I mean, page 234 and I still think I don't like it. I mean, I know I don't like it. I am a little bit disappointed. Like, I really hoped, I was hoping that I would like this book. There wasn't really much of a plot. Like, I feel like there were no big things happening. It just felt kind of uneventful. I could see how potentially the next books would like get better and better, but this one just didn't catch my interest enough to want to read on to like the next books. One thing about the romance is that I feel like the guy character, he was very unlikable in the beginning, which like a lot of times happens with enemies to lovers, but I feel like him like going from unlikable to like liking her a lot and stuff, it felt like such a quick change, and I don't know, like I just felt like it didn't feel like it was developed to me. Like it didn't feel real to me. And I also don't really like the side characters. I feel like they don't seem like real people. Those are just some things that while I was reading it, I was like, okay, I feel like I just am not going to end up liking it. And then I didn't end up liking it, so that's that. I'm not gonna make myself finish it because even though like I only have a little bit left, but there's kind of a lot of writing on these pages. Like that's why I didn't think it would take me this long, and it took me way longer than I thought. That feels so good. One, to finally be done reading for this video. I had fun during it. This was a fun video, but it was also like, I can't even remember when I started it. And then it's also kind of a weight off my chest that I read a book that's been on my TBR for so long. That always feels so good to like read a book that's been there and you're just like, oh, I'm done with it. That is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I'm doing a 12 days of Christmas sort of thing where it started on the 13th of December, and then I'm gonna be uploading a video every single day until the 24th of December. So I don't know which number this is, but I think this is coming out tomorrow actually. So this is going to be, how many videos have I uploaded? I think this is going to be the 4th video. If you want to see more of my videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you liked it, and I will see you on the next one.